The Denver Broncos, one of the healthiest teams throughout Sean Payton's tenure, have just suffered their first major injury to a starter. But here's the thing, it's not as devastating as it sounds. There's a silver lining in all this, and it could actually reveal just how strong and resilient this team really is. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. And of course, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, let's get into it. Ben Powers, the Broncos' Iron Man on the offensive line, a guy who's started every single game since joining Denver, suffered a biceps injury in that hard-fought battle against the Philadelphia Eagles. And yet, in true Warrior fashion, he powered through the pain, finishing the game against the reigning Super Bowl champions. That's grit. That's heart. That's Broncos football. The good news? The injury isn't season-ending. Reports say it's roughly a 2-month recovery, and the hope is that Powers could be back by the time Denver faces Green Bay. Against some upcoming matchups, like the Raiders, the team believes they can manage just fine without him. And honestly, there's a reason for that confidence, because behind Powers, the Broncos already have a reliable, battle-tested backup who's proven he can step up when called upon. Ben Powers has been playing at an elite level, and while his absence will be felt, Denver's depth and determination might just turn this setback into an opportunity to show the NFL they're tougher than anyone realizes. Let's talk about how incredible Ben Powers has been this season. He's actually been outperforming Quinn Meinerz at the guard position, and that's saying something. Powers has allowed the fewest pressures on Bo Nix of any guard in football right now. Of course, some of that credit also goes to Nix himself. His pocket awareness and ability to move under pressure are elite. He makes even the best defensive lines look like they're skating on ice. Now, the big question, who steps up in Powers' absence? That man is Alex Palczewski, and if you're a Broncos fan, you already know the name. Every time the stadium announcer calls out, number 63, Alex Palczewski is reporting as eligible, Mile High erupts. The fans love him, and for good reason. Palczewski went undrafted, but don't let that fool you. He's been a 5-year starter at the University of Illinois, and in his final season, he didn't allow a single sack. That's right, 0. He's a pass-blocking powerhouse, a technician in the trenches. During his college career, he started 65 games, setting a Big Ten record and tying the most starts in FBS history. That's experience you can't teach. Last season, when Mike McGlinchey went down, Palczewski stepped in at right tackle against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' dominant defensive front, and he held his own like a seasoned pro. Even Sean Payton had confidence in him, saying there's a calm, steady presence whenever Alex is on the field. Bo Nix echoed that same trust, giving him the nickname Paltro, a nod to his Polish roots and hardworking family background. This is the kind of underdog story that embodies Denver football: grit, toughness, and heart. Bo Nix himself summed it up best when he said, with Paltro's experience, he's going to keep us moving forward and help our offensive line stay strong. And honestly, he's absolutely right. Last season, Alex Palczewski stepped into the lineup for 3 games, and in those appearances, he allowed just 1 sack across 179 snaps. That's elite-level consistency, especially when you remember the kind of defenses he faced. He went up against the Jets' dominant front last year, the same one he'll face again this Sunday in London, and still held his ground. Even in his very first start against Tampa Bay, one of the most physical defensive fronts in the league, he allowed only 1 pressure the entire game. That's not just solid, that's exceptional. What's even more impressive is how quickly the chemistry developed across that offensive line. In Paltro's debut, the Broncos' O-line had one of its best overall performances of the entire season. And keep in mind, that was with him playing right tackle, one of the toughest positions in football. You're out on an island, exposed, battling elite edge rushers snap after snap. Now, moving to guard is a smoother transition for him. With Garrett Bowles anchoring one side and Luke Wattenberg on the other, the setup gives Palczewski more support and structure, and that's where his power and precision will shine. And if you need proof of how much this coaching staff believes in him, just look at last season. The Broncos used him in jumbo packages 11 times on Monday Night Football, trusting him to help open up lanes in crucial running situations. The result? 29 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns from those sets alone. That tells you everything. The trust is real, the talent is proven, and the Broncos are in good hands with Paltrow stepping in. Palczewski isn't just a reliable blocker, he's a fantastic run blocker, maybe even better there than in pass protection. And that's important, because Denver's ground game is finally starting to find its rhythm. The last thing the Broncos need right now is to lose that momentum, and thankfully, Paltrow might actually help keep it going. Sean Payton clearly sees something special in him, constantly finding ways to get him involved this season. So here's the real question, is this a reason to panic? Should Denver make a move and trade for another guard, or should they trust Paltrow to hold the line until Ben Powers returns? Be honest, there's almost no chance of signing or trading for someone before heading to London. So this week, Paltrow is the guy, no doubt about it. Now, there are rumors swirling, fire sales from teams like the Baltimore Ravens and New Orleans Saints could make some veteran linemen available. But do the Broncos really need to make that move? Personally, I don't think so. Because if you've been watching closely, you've seen what this kid can do. Last year, he stepped in at an even harder position, right tackle, and there wasn't a single drop-off in performance. He's proven he can handle pressure, adjust quickly, and bring stability when the team needs it most. And here's another reason to believe, the advanced analytics are backing it up. The Broncos are way ahead of where they were this time last year, across nearly every offensive metric. And we all remember how last season ended, a playoff berth that could have easily turned into a postseason win if not for that brutal first-round draw against Buffalo. Players like Troy Franklin are a perfect example of how much this team has grown. Last year, he finished the entire season with 263 receiving yards. This year, we're only 5 games in, and he's already about to surpass that mark. This isn't just a team surviving adversity, this is a team evolving, growing, and believing again. And with Palczewski stepping in, that belief isn't fading, it's only getting stronger. Troy Franklin has already surpassed his entire yardage total from last season, and we're only a few games in. That's incredible progress, proof of just how far this offense has come. Sean Payton, too, is clearly feeling the momentum. After that huge win over the Philadelphia Eagles, you could tell how much it meant to him and this team. He's an old-school, disciplined coach, but he also knows how to let his players enjoy the moment. That balance of structure and swagger is what's bringing life back to Denver football. Now the focus shifts to the Jets, and the Broncos' defense has every reason to be hungry. The Jets allowed 23 pressures on Justin Fields last week, and you know Denver's pass rush is licking its chops. Guys like Nick Bonitto are on a tear right now, stacking up more sacks than some entire NFL teams. That's domination, plain and simple. This defense is heating up at the perfect time, and when you combine that with the growing confidence of the offense, you start to see a team that's turning a corner, fast. And while some analysts still don't give Denver the respect they deserve, with PFF ranking Bo Nix as the 32nd quarterback in football, it just proves how misleading stats can be. Numbers can be twisted any way you want, but the truth shows up on the field. Meanwhile, others around the league are hyping up Baker Mayfield for having 6 deep touchdown passes this season. That's fine. But when you actually watch the Broncos play, you see something more important than stats, you see chemistry, belief, and heart. This team isn't chasing validation, they're earning it, one snap at a time. You know what's crazy? Only a handful of quarterbacks in the entire NFL have thrown more than 3 deep touchdown passes this season, and Bo Nix is one of them. So, to anyone still doubting him, stop it. He's right there in the same conversation as Baker Mayfield and proving week after week that he belongs. And let's be real, the defenses Denver has faced so far have been no joke. These were top-tier units, way tougher than the ones waiting ahead on the schedule. That's a great sign for where this offense is heading. Now, let's talk about the other side of the ball, because Patrick Surtain too continues to show why he's one of the best cornerbacks in football. The Philadelphia Eagles made it their mission to feed their top wide receiver last week after all the trade rumors and social media noise. But Surtain wasn't having any of it. He held that star receiver to just 40 yards, despite a questionable pass interference call, and only 4 catches total. That's elite lockdown defense. You can throw your best at him, and he'll erase you from the stat sheet like you were never even there. And as if the weekend couldn't get any better, Monday Night Football brought even more reason for Broncos country to smile. The Kansas City Chiefs are sitting at the bottom of the AFC West standings, right there with the Raiders, while the Denver Broncos hold a 1-game lead. That alone feels incredible. But what's even more satisfying? Seeing the contrast in heart and effort. We just watched Ben Powers fight through a torn biceps because he refused to quit. That's what leadership looks like. Meanwhile, over in Kansas City, their highly paid star defender, Chris Jones, couldn't even muster the effort to make a simple hustle play on a key down. That's the difference between grit and ego. This Broncos team is showing what it means to fight for every inch, to play for each other, and to bring back the pride that defines Denver football. Just watch that lack of effort, and imagine if one of our own ever played like that. Broncos country would be furious. That's not the standard we live by. The fallout has already begun. Chris Jones has even wiped his Twitter after fans called him out. But that's the problem in Kansas City right now. Their biggest contracts are tied up in aging stars like Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, guys who are getting slower, less explosive, and simply don't have that same fire anymore. Like radio host Zach By always says, you can't fake hunger. You either want it or you don't, and the Kansas City Chiefs don't want it like the Denver Broncos do. Denver has the hunger. The proof is right there, coming back from a 14-point deficit on the road in Philadelphia, with one of their starters battling through a torn biceps, refusing to quit. That's not luck. That's heart. That's Broncos football. This team isn't just winning games, they're proving something deeper. They're showing what it means to fight, to believe, and to rise when everyone else expects you to fall. So believe it, Broncos country, because this team is built for January football. The way they're playing, the way they're fighting, this looks like the start of something special.